this new tutorial, I will be showing you how to create these modern clam shaped lamps. So let's go. So let's go ahead and select the actual box here and delete it with the delete key. And I'm going to create a sphere. So I'm going to put on the snaps over there and let's pull this out. And we're good with that size right there. And we're going to actually create a couple lines here. So let's pull one out. And I'm going to basically cut this in half. So go ahead and select the line and use the cutter tool. Cut that in half. And I could delete that piece there. Now I'm going to actually select the bottom of this sphere. And I'm also going to delete this by Shift X. So now I'm just dealing with a surface. So the idea here is just to work with surfaces as much as we can to create these shapes. So I'm going to get rid of that line. Now let's go to the top view here. I'm going to create a line across here. On the top view, I'm going to actually strew this out with the radial ray with these lines. I'm going to go with like 16. I'm just doing this to get a nice one piece, basically is what I'm looking for, but I'm going to cut through the whole thing, which is okay. I just want to get a shape that I want to work with for the whole roundness of this new lamp. So now I got these laid out. I'm going to actually hit the F key and go to the imprint that I already have, or Shift J. And I'm going to select this main object first. And then I'm going to select the actual lines that I created earlier. And I'm going to hit the OK. So I'm going to imprint those onto the actual half sphere. And that should be good. So let's turn it over and make sure it actually did what it's supposed to do. So it did. All right, cool. So that's the first part of this. I'm going to also create a line here. And I'm actually going to cut this out. So select the actual top of the section there and use the cutter. And just get that line to cut it out. So now let's go ahead and delete that section with the delete key. So now I've basically got like a quarter of the sphere now. And I'm going to actually mirror this to the other side. So I got two of the actual surfaces now. I'm going to go ahead and select those lines and just delete those. Don't need those anymore. All right, so let's go ahead and start working these objects that we just cut into. So I'm going to actually select the face selection mode here. And let's select these sections here. And deselect everything here. And then hit the Shift X to get rid of that. Okay, now I did that section. I'm also going to do this section here. So again, select these actual faces and deselect these ones on top. And again, hit the Shift X. So now we got two basic surfaces that we're going to work with. So let's go back to the front view here. And I'm going to go ahead and work this now so we can actually start connecting stuff. So I'm going to select this edge here and this edge here. That's the way it's actually perfectly aligned. And then I'm going to hit the actual F key. Now, the BR is bridge edge. If you want to actually look for that and put it as one of your favorites, you can always do bridge edge. And what you could do is just right click on it and you could say assign shortcut. And that way it's always up there. That's what I did with this one. So anyway, you can actually escape here. Since it's already got bridge edge, it's not letting me go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and go back to F. Bridge edge. And now I got a perfect tendency here, G2, G2. And let's go ahead and OK. Same thing here. I'm going to hit these two lines here. Hit the F key again. And now since I have my shortcut, just continue to do that. G2, G2. Select these two right here. And we're going to go to the side here and actually extrude with the E key. And then I'm going to hit the F key and then move this straight out. Just like that. Cool. Now we select these two lines here and delete those. We don't need those things that are in the way. They'll cause a problem if we don't get rid of them. So make sure you delete them. For some reason that didn't delete, so let's delete it again. There we go. Now let's go ahead and connect these together. So select this one, this one, this one, and this one. And we're going to now hit the patch tool, which is also Shift J. And one thing I'm going to make sure is that I got G1 here, G1 there, and keep these at G0 because these are actually the edge of something that's not connected to anything. So that's, if you do that, it won't actually work. So G1, G1. Okay, cool. Now that we have this, let's go and select these two sections here, hit Shift X, get rid of them. And now we got a perfect shape that we can work with. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select it. I'm going to start using the actual thicken right here. And I'm going to pull this inward so I can get a nice inner section. And I'm okay with this edge. I think it looks nice with the shell. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going with like 0.12. Let's just go 0.13. Negative 0.13. Type it in that way exactly so you get exactly what you want. And now that's done. Cool. Now we got to fix these edges here. I don't like this kind of look here. I want to have a nice smooth curvature here. And to do that, there's a way. What I would suggest is that we take these sections here, this one here, this one, this one, this one, and we can do Shift X. So those are gone. Another thing I want to do is I want to make sure that we can connect to this piece here. So first things first, though, I want to go ahead and select these sections here and go to the top view. And I want to rotate this so it's actually aligned to this center space here. So the way to do that is simple. Just get a line, select it in the middle, and then hit the center of this mask. There's actually a center right there. Right there. And that way exactly it's half and half, right? Right click. Now what we can do is we can hit the object again, hit the R key, hit the F key, and select the center again. And now select this line here. And now we're just going to move this straight to the actual center line and right click. There we go. Now we can select this line that we just created. We don't need that no more. Go ahead and delete. There we go. So now that we've gotten this straight, that makes it easier to connect everything properly. All right, so let's go back to the side here. Now we got this all lined up. So let's go ahead and start working this. So we need a way to connect to this to this. So go to this front view here. We're going to actually put a line straight down the center. So that way these are exactly half and half. And now we can just do select object. Use the cutter, select it, and hit OK. So now that we've done that, we can delete this line. So delete it. And now that we got that, we can select this line here, and we're going to create the edges that we need. And this line here, so there's two outer lines, right? I'm going to hit F again. We're going to hit bridge edge again. Here we go. So now we got a perfect tangent line here. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So go ahead and select this one and this one. Again, hit the F key, BR, and hit OK. Cool. So now that's done. We're going to do the same thing on the bottom. So this side and the back side here. F, BR, hit OK. And the same one on the back side. So this one, as well as this one here. Hit F, BR. So now we got all those ready to go. We can say, OK. Now let's select these two lines here that are on the outside. And I'm going to actually extrude those. So hit the E key. I'm going to hit the F key so I can actually hit the point here. And let's move this one outward. Same thing with these two. I'm going to select this one. This one. Again, go back to the side. Hit the F key again. And actually, we're going to hit the extrude first. Then F, hit this point there. Pull it out. There we go. So now let's go ahead and get rid of these blue sections here. So just delete them. Delete. Delete. We don't need any of these. There'll be a problem if we use those because they'll cause the G0 effect, which causes a sharp edge. We want a smooth edge. So now that we got this created, now we can go simply delete this. And I'm going to go farther than that. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this whole section here. So it's going to be one full smooth area. So I'll hit the Shift X to delete that. And let's go ahead and work this now since we got this selected. So go ahead and select this bottom one. Select this one here. This one here. This one there. This one here. And we're going to go ahead and use the patch tool. Simple as that. I have to add some weird stuff here. Let me just go back So that was weird. So let's do it again. Patch. That time it worked. G1, G1, and we want G1 here. So it's tangent. These can stay at G0 because they're a flat edge. Hit the OK. Cool. Now we can select these two sections here and delete those. Shift X. And let's go and do the backside now. So same thing here. We got to get rid of some stuff just so we can make this work. So let's get these sections, these 5 sections. Not this one. This one here. And now we can delete those. So Shift X. Now we got a blank slate here. Let's go ahead and do the same thing like we just did. Select this section on the outer side. Select this one. Again, select this one. And then we're going to select this one. That's a little daunting, all these lines, but it works great. Now we select this one since this is created here, right? Again, same thing. Hit the patch tool. And one great thing about this is that we don't have to use the X nerves at all with this method. So G1 on both of those. G1 here. And we're good. So that's done. Now we got to connect these intersections here. So let's go ahead and select these 2 pieces here. Shift X. Let's see what we got. Very smooth, clean. Now what we can do is we can actually now select this line here and fix those as well. And what I can do, since I've already created half of this, I can go ahead and get rid of this now. So let's go ahead and hit the face tool, select these bottom sections here, and do a Shift X. We don't need those right now. We'll re-add it together when we mirror it afterwards. All right, so now we want to put a line from here to here. And again, hit the E key, and we're going to extrude it downward. Hit OK. And we do the same thing with this one, since we're in the middle of doing that. Back and forth. So E, down, hit OK. Now select these lines here. The blue ones again, got to get rid of those. Always delete. Those are your placeholders, but you don't need them anymore after you extrude it. Okay, so select this one, this one, this one, this one. Again, hit the patch tool. And we're going to go at G1 there, G1 here, and these stay at G0 because it is a sharp edge. And that's fine because we're going to go in and actually bevel that afterwards. All right, so that one's done. Let's do the same thing here. This one, this one, this one, and this one. And again, hit the patch tool. And we'll do G1, G1. So the base will actually be a smooth transition. These are G0 again. Hit OK. Now I'll go and select these over here. Shift X. And we got our half of our model. And we have it open. That's perfect. So now let's go to the side view here. Let's mirror this down. First of all, select the object. Select the object here. Mirror. Select the bottom here. And merge halves together. Save one step. There we go. Now let's take a look at this, see what we got. I'm going to go with a nice gray that shows every problem or any issue with your model. And yeah, that looks really sharp, really clean, very easy on eyes. But this is a great way to handle round surfaces like this smoothly. Okay, so now you can leave this color here, it's fine. I'm going to go ahead and select the line here, and we can select lines too. Now before I would try to select this whole thing, I would be cut in these areas here because if you pulled out these edges on both sides and these two on this side, you would have some really sharp edges in these areas. And it causes a lot of problems trying to do what I'm doing right now. So that's why I did this method. So let's go and select this line here. Hit the Alt key, and it went all the way around. This is what we want. Before, I'd actually cut halfway. So let's go ahead and now hit Shift. Do the same thing here. Just trying to find the best and fastest method for everybody that's following this to make this shape quickly. So let's go ahead and pull this out now on the plus, and we can go with something like not too far, because you don't want to go past that point, right? Go like I think 6 by 7, something like that. It's good. Hit the OK. Yeah, that looks great. And now we have a nice smooth clamshell. All right, cool. So we're going to start now working on the rest of the model. My model will be a little different than this because I actually went farther on the extensions on this updated version. I just thought this was much easier to understand how to work this out. All right, so let's go. All right, so I'm going to go in here and actually add in a disc to the bottom of this clamshell light fixture. So let's go ahead and go with a disc to the top view here and pull this out in the center. That way it lines up properly. And about that wide there looks good. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit the G key and bring this down all the way. And then I'm going to actually go to the side here, select the face, and now I'm going to actually pull this up like that. Hit OK. Now I'm going to head and select the object selection tool, select that, and hit G key and bring it all the way up into the actual object. Now I'm going to make sure I actually cut this into this other object here. So select that and that one. Hit the Q, and then I'm going to hit the keep tool. So that way that piece stays there. And I'm going to actually hit the edge here with the line tool. So select the line and then select this section here and do a fillet to make it smooth. Has some variations there between the two objects. And the bottom here too, I'll also do a fillet. So pull that out on the plus. Something like that, looks good. So hit OK. Okay, so now I'm going to select the line tool. I'm going to cut the top piece off so I can actually add the light shade on top. So I'm going to cut this through right here. Let go, and then I'm going to select the object, and I'm going to use the cutter. So select the object selection, select it, hit the cutter, and then select that line that we just pulled out. There we go. Hit OK. And just want to make sure that it's completely smooth around all the way around. So we got a good place where we cut that out. So that's perfect. So now I'm going to hide everything except for the top piece. And I want to take away these faces here. So select the face selection. I'm going to select all these inner pieces all the way around. And just deselect the ones on the outside. Don't want to delete those by accident. And we still got the one face on the bottom here. So select that. Hit the shift. And now hit the Shift X. Now we got that completely clear. It's just a shell. And here we're going to actually use the thicken tool. So we're actually going to hit the thicken tool and bring it basically a little bit smaller. So I brought the other object back in to see what I'm doing. Okay, so now I got selected. I'm going to hit the thicken, pull this out, or pull it in. So it goes inward. About there looks good. Hit the OK button. Now that I've done that, select the actual object itself and select the sheet. Let's go ahead and delete the sheet. We don't need the sheet anymore. It's just an extra copy. So hit delete. Now we just got the main object itself, which is the solid. Cool. Now let's go back to the side view and hide. And I want to scale this down just a little bit, just so it actually has some variations between the holding piece and this piece. I'm also going to hit the G key and move this down. So let's go ahead and select it down into the other object. There we go. Hit the OK button. Now let's select this main object and now the light shade. And we're going to hit the Q. And we're going to keep the tool here. And set OK. Now we're going to select the line here and give it an edge to it. So we're doing a fillet on this one. So it's nice and smooth. And we could do the other side as well. So let's select the object here and hide it so we can see what we're doing. Hit the line tool. Select the inner piece and pull this out. Again, a nice fillet. Hit OK. All right, so we're going to pull the disc out here to create the actual assembly. So I'll pull that out. So again, hit the disc here and pull this out to create the assembly. So let's pull it all the way to the edge here, like that. And we're going to actually hit the G key to move it upward. We're going to bring this all the way up into the space here. There we go. can scale it up a little bit. All right, so let's zoom in a little bit, see what we're doing. Go ahead, okay. Now we have this laid out. I'm going to pull this up on the Z. Hit okay. Okay, so we got the first line down. Let's go ahead and do another line here. So let's go again with the circle. Let's pull this out. It's be a little bit smaller than the first one that we just did. There we go. We got those two circles there. We can use them to our advantage. We'll go ahead and select that and use the cutter here to cut through that. Perfect. Now that's done that, it looks good. I select the object here and we're going to move it, scale it in a little bit higher so it's a little bit wider. We want to get over the edge a little bit. We don't want to go too far because we want to make sure that the actual lamp cover doesn't engage into that somehow. So hit the OK. We did a Shift D on that, on the edge here, on that surface. We're going to create a circle here. We're going to go a little bit farther out, right about there. This as well. Okay, so select this face here, just that one section. Let's bring it in and down, bring it down into the space. Cool. We can select this little edge here. Okay, first let's delete those surfaces. Okay, so now I got this selected, this little piece here. I'm cutting into it right now. I want to just take a chunk of that into it. So this is going to be the light bulb itself, the LED. And the other part is the piece that holds the light in place. So we can select this and we can hit the Q key and we'll keep tool. All right, so we can now select the lines in here after we cut that. So I put the lines on, let's see what I'm doing. So let's pull this out on the plus. It could be the negative. It's so small we won't even notice it really. Let's get a little bit closer. So let's select the object. The first one's the outer section, and the second object will be the inner section. However, I want to bring this up just a little bit, just make sure it's cutting all the way through. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through some of the minor fillets that I'm adding to this. Just follow along as best you can. If you need to slow it down, and slow it down on the video. All right, so now I'm going to bring this section down right here. So it's actually against the base plate there. And then I'm going to also take this down as well with the move key. So hit the G key and bring it down. And let's hit OK. Cool. Now let's go ahead and continue to build out some more stuff. So now I want to also just do a little bit of a fillet on this. We're going to start with the chamfer first, then add a fillet to those two pieces that are now chamfered. So this piece here, just bring it up a little bit so it's nice and rounded. I think that's good. Okay, so now I hid the top piece. See what it looks like. All right, so I'm going to side view here. Let's select this and actually scale this down quite a bit. This will be the actual stick itself. So let's go and select the face here and bring that up with the E key. Hit the OK. We go to the side here again, and we can actually scale this down or bring it down almost to the bottom there. Right about there. I think that would look good. I suggest that if you want something exact, you get the right measurements and kind of emulate the right measurements as you build stuff like this out. Unless you're good at doing kind of like unless you can see what you're doing kind of and get close to the proximities of your sizes, then that's fine too. As long as this object looks right and correct. Okay, so I scaled this down on the X and Y, and the Z I kept the same, so it's the same height. Cool, that looks good. I can select the line here and delete it. I don't need that no more. And select the object down. Just select that one first, this one second. And again, we're going to cut into this and we're going to keep tool. So that way we still have that stick. Let's go ahead and go to the edge here right over here. And let's pull this out on the actual plus on the fillet. Hit OK. We can drop it down a little bit more and we can start creating the next part. So again, let's go to the side view here. See what that looks like. I think that looks good. Let's go select the circle tool and we're going to go to the Z axis to the top. We're going to pull out the base now. So let's pull this out to about there as a good estimate. Let's hit the G key and bring it down. And we'll line it up with that other bottom of that piece. And now we could actually go in and extrude this. So let's go ahead and hit face. Face selection. Let's go ahead and hit E to extrude. Bring it down. Not too much. Hit the OK button. And we're going to extrude up a little bit more. We're going to keep the Z though at the same height. So we'll go back to 1. Okay. Now let's select the line tool and delete that piece. And now we can do a little bit of a fillet here. Not too rounded, just a little bit. Here we go. That looks good. And the same at the bottom. Just give it some variations. Hit OK. Now one thing I noticed, it is a little big to my own desired look. So I'm going to select the base here again. I'm going to scale it. And then I'm going to go back into the Z again. And I'm going to keep the same as 1 on the Z. So click there and type in 1. Hit OK. That looks better. Now we select this line and we can delete it. And a few other lines there we don't need anymore. We can get rid of those as well. All right, so I'm going to the front view now, and I want to create a button to turn on, or to twist to turn on. So I'm going to center this into the center of this space with this circle. Bring it out, not too much. Right there. That looks good. And now we can work this piece. So hit the face tool. Let's go and extrude this out. But first of all, I want to actually do a loft on this. I'm going to create a copy of this, and then I'm going to make one a little bit smaller, which is the top. So that way it kind of has a little bit of a bevel on the form. So select both faces, hit the L key. There we go. Now let's go and delete these 2 edges that we don't need no more. Delete those. Great. Now let's do a little bit of a fillet on the top here. Just give it a little bit of roundness to the top. So on the plus, hit OK. Now we can go to the line tool to add in a kind of like a cut into it all the way around so it's nice and clean. So it looks like it has a grip to it. So again, we're going to use the line tool instead of this. So select the line tool. First, I'm going to go to the side view and select the line tool. That's going to be easier. And we're going to pull out right about here. And we're going to bring it out there and up and then back over and then back to the original. And then at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and move this into the right position. So we get the G key. I'm going to center this close to the center. And I'm going to extrude this first. So hit the face tool, hit the E key, and pull this out. About there, and I want too big. Okay, we can select that line now and delete it. And we select the object here, and we can actually make sure it's centered. So let's go ahead and hit the line tool straight up. That's where we want it to be centered off of. So again, select the object tool, hit the G key and F. We center this right onto that line. Perfect right there. Okay, see what this looks like from the side. All right, that looks good. Now we could bring this up a little bit. And we can select the line tool here. Let's just select these two edges here and kind of put a little bit of radius on that. So we're going to do this on the plus. So about right there. Hit the OK. I think this would look nice with that piece there. So let's go and select the object tool and now radio array. Hit the center of this space. I'm going to bring it quite a bit up. It was at 16 and went to 45. Hit OK. Now let's go and select the main center there. And then we'll use the left mouse and hold over to the left side and select all those and hit the Q key to cut them. Perfect. All right, so just a couple things I didn't cover, which was I did put a hole into the actual main pole here to show that the stick had like a hole in it, as well as put a hole back into the actual knob. So it actually belongs. Just something real simple. So anyway, didn't show that, but thanks for joining me. Please subscribe so I can continue to create these tutorials for everybody. Thank you.